Ethan is leftovers done for good.
I think what Ethan, is probably looking for is support from Hasan while his community is shredding him. What Ethan is probably feeling right now is a little bit mindful, because from Ethan's perspective, Ethan is a guy who tries his best to do right by everybody. He tries his best to be understanding of both sides. Ethan is getting insanely attacked on Twitter. He sees his community hardcore on Ethan and his wife, right? It's happening in the main subreddit. Now it's happening in that anti-fan subreddit. He's seeing Hasan's Discord going hard at him. It'd probably feel bad to Ethan that he feels like nobody has his back right now. His production staff seems to be kind of left-leaning. His subreddit is all turned against him, kind of. I don't know what the YouTube comments are at because I don't check it. The chats and everything are run by Hasan fans. Hasan's whole Discord community hates him. And then everybody to the left that was ostensibly his ally is also him, and he lit too. So it's a pretty lonely world that he's in right now.
I don't really even know what I did other than like try to talk about how horrible Hamas is. That enough turns people into just the meanest I've ever seen them.
There's a lot of memes we missed. Should we just cover the recent stuff, or do you want to?
On the Gaza-Israel conflict, what I saw in that Discord was universal, near universal praise for Hamas, near universal saying people deserved it, near universal people saying dudes who was like, the hang gliders came in and showed him what's up. People saying he's spitting facts.
Hey.
Near universal. People near universally calling me a Zionist pig, mass murdering, genocidal freak. And if you want to know the truth, that shit me up seeing that Discord. Because it made me realize that a lot of these people are watching this show, and it frankly disturbed me.
Oh no. He's having his lefty moment. Oh no.
And I want to make it clear, Hasan doesn't support that stuff. I had a private conversation with him and I told him, like, this stuff is really upsetting to see.
I wonder what that private conversation looked like. Oh, I can't control any of that. I don't know where those people come from. I never say any of that on my stream. Remember that time when, was it the Pussy Riot girls were on his stream and they started talking about, was it Ukraine, Russia? And Hasan's whole chat was like pro-Russia, and he was like sitting there awkwardly as the girl started fighting with his chat. He said it's not his Discord. Yeah, I hate it. I hate how many streamers don't take responsibility for their communities. Oh my God. Like, your community very clearly follows your lead. Like, come on.
And Hasan sat down with his mods, and he sat down with his team and said, this stuff's not acceptable. On the Gaza.
Me when I lie. Oh shit, this was, damn. Ooh, that's a little spooky. Was that really 2 years ago? Holy shit. No, that's like a year and a half ago. Okay, almost 2 years ago. You should recognize the privilege in saying you don't want to discuss it anymore when it concerns the Palestinian genocide currently happening. This is, I think is, apparently Ethan said he's pausing leftovers. Notice how Hasan will never publicly concede anything to Ethan. All of these chats have to happen offline for some reason. Yeah, of course. Hasan nuked his main chat in Discord right after the recording came out. When you say nuked his main chat, do you mean banned people or just deleted it? I bet it'll come back once the new lefty topic crops up. No, because I think that Ethan and Hasan kind of worked because Ethan is probably pretty progressive in terms of his like social values, but not on like that Marxist-Leninist bullshit. That's the issue, right? Not on the weird, super lefty tanky shit. At Destiny, not his Discord as he calls for mass downvotes on LSF. Wait, the Haas quarter, that's the same, that is his Discord. That's the one he posts messages in, right? And then you totally overestimate the word of content creators when they say they will axe things. Hasan plus Ethan will work something off camera and left us back in. It's not done, come on, dude. Okay. He talked about the possible end of leftovers here. Oh, hold on. This shit, dude.
Yeah, the question is, why do you assume when it...
Wait, 1 second. Okay.
Yeah, the question is, why do you assume when a girl comes to your studio, why do you assume that she wants to flash herself? Like, what's that?
I don't
No,
know
no.
if he's assuming that.
No, I'm not. I'm just letting.
That
I'm
was like
just.
literally the first thing I've heard from you when I came to the studio, and I
They're
find it
weird
really
as.
specific.
They're really weird about like even showing bras and shit. That's why I'm scared. Otherwise, I don't give a. You do whatever you want.
Do you ask guys the same thing?
No, because again,
But
it's
why?
not because it's not a double. It's not a double standard. I'm enforcing. It's a double standard. Twitch is enforcing. Do you understand?
No.
Wait a second. Hold up. Not to defend Hasan here, but and somebody can tell me if I'm wrong, 'cause I don't remember this shit. Are these two, isn't Pxie Riot known for doing full nude protests in Russia? Am I right or wrong about that? Or am I mixing it up with somebody else? Is that Grimes? Maybe. I think she was at that event in San Francisco I went to, I think, or maybe not, I don't remember. The leftist Grimes. Oh, this is Grimes. This is just the Pxie Riot girl? Okay.
No, but I didn't understand why you asked me specifically. About
Because if guys showed nipples or whatever, or whatever undergarments.
Oh, Hasan's not understanding what she's saying. She's not asking Hasan about like what the rules are. She understands that. She's just curious because it sounds like what Hasan probably said was as they were coming on, he was like, okay, just make sure that you're careful, you're not like showing anything you're not supposed to, maybe because of her top. And she interpreted him as saying like, hey, don't take your tits out. I think that was her she's just like interpreting what he said like very harshly, I think.
Or whatever undergarments,
that I
it would
wanna show
not
my
be.
nipples?
No, I'm not saying you're showing your nipples.
No, you're definitely assuming that one.
No,
Like, you
no,
definitely
no,
did.
you're misunderstanding me. You're misunderstanding
When I
me.
just came in here, but I'm like,
no.
we don't have to fight about it. But I just like want to make
Well,
publicly known.
You did come in here, crack a whip, and then just show your ass to the camera.
Okay. Listen. You can do whatever you want. I'm fully in support of it.
Yeah, that's
Okay. Yeah, she just misunderstood what he said, and for some reason he's not understanding or misunderstanding. Yeah, whatever. Hey, dude, read up on the Palestinian Martyrs Fund. It's some weird shit where the Palestinian state actively funds terror crimes against Israel. Yeah, I think it's Hamas gives money depending on how many. They'll give money to your family depending on how many Israeli citizens you kill if you like suicide bomb yourself. It's kind of weird. It's like the bounty fund or some shit. It's pretty strange. It's a little weird. I think it's a little weird. Yeah.
Ethan is leftovers done for good. I wouldn't
Not
say.
Hamas, the PLO. Wait, is that true? The Martyr Fund Palestine. Oh shit! I thought that was just the. Well, it's the PAMF, huh? The Palestinian Authority Martyrs Fund is a fund operated by the Palestinian Authority, which I believe is the. Are they the? Yeah. Okay. Known as the Palestinian, the official state of Palestine is a Fatah-controlled government body, and then this is like the largest party, where they enjoy the most support in the West Bank right now, right? I believe. A and B is conscious of the 93-95 Oslo Accords, Palestine control the Gaza Strip prior to the Palestinian elections in the 6th. Gaza. Okay. They're the recognized government. Yeah. Okay. That pays monthly cash stipends to the families of Palestinians killed, injured, or imprisoned while carrying out politically motivated violence against Israel. The fund also makes disbursements to innocent bystanders killed during violent events and Palestinians imprisoned in Israeli jails for ordinary crimes. In 2016, the PA paid out about NIS 1.1 billion, US $303 million in stipends and other benefits to the families. Well, I need to get a sense of, is $300 million a lot for this amount of people? Palestine, well, let's see, West Bank population. There's 2 million in Gaza. Isn't there a few million in 2 to 3 million? That's quite a bit of money. That's a lot of money. $300 million. And I bet dollars probably go significantly farther here as well, right? What was the time span of this? That was in 1 year. Okay. I'm trying to think of what's a comparable metropolitan area with a population of 3 million. Omaha is about 1 million. I'm pretty sure LA is like 10 million. 12 million. Miami is 6 million. What about Phoenix? Phoenix is 5 million. Chicago is, I think, 10 million. Jesus. St. Louis? Okay. So that would be like if the entire city of St. Louis had $300 million available to it just to go and kill people in Kansas City. Did you know that Israel gave Egypt a shit ton of land back for security guarantees? So it, like and said last night is wrong. Oh, maybe, yeah. Well, but to be fair, hold up. You're talking about, isn't that land that Israel gave back to Egypt after they'd conquered it? Dustin, that's 1.8% of GDP. They don't have an army, so it's below NATO standards. Shut up, you retard. They gave back the Sinai for a peace treaty, which holds to this day. Sure. Also, if you're watching me, okay, and you do not trust any of the lamestream media, okay, because they're all Jewish owned and they all walked back their claims about the rocket in the hospital, today you can celebrate, okay? You might be able to be on the mainstream media side again today, because I believe the New York Times released, I think what I've read is considered one of the most comprehensive analyses of the rocket stuff, and I believe, we should just read it, but I think their claim is that the initial video of rocket that dropped on the hospital couldn't have been the one that people are seeing, that it might have been an intercept from the Iron Dome really far away or something, but just to know that, okay, just so you guys realize, okay, if you were a lamestream media hater, now you can side with the New York Times, possibly. A close look at some key evidence in the Gaza hospital blast. A widely cited missile video does not shed light on what happened, a Times analysis concludes. The video shows a projectile streaking through the darkened skies over Gaza and exploding in the air. Seconds later, another explosion is seen on the ground. The footage has become a widely cited piece of evidence as Israeli and American officials have made the case that an errant Palestinian rocket malfunctioned in the sky, fell to the ground, and caused a deadly explosion at Al Ali Arab Hospital in Gaza City. But a detailed visual analysis by the New York Times concludes that the video clip, taken from an Al Jazeera television camera live streaming on the night of October 17th, shows something else. The missile seen in the video is most likely not what caused the explosion at the hospital. Real quick, is there like a militarily, is that a word? Is there like a militarily differentiated definition between missile and rocket? Or what do we refer to? Because I feel like there's a difference between, you've got, well, maybe not, maybe the principle is the same. You've got like some rocket body that has fuel, goes boom, there's some explosive package on top, and then usually through impact and not a timer or not other mechanism, this material detonates once on impact or some shit, right? Is it just guided versus unguided? Missiles are guided, rockets are dumb. Okay, so maybe it's some form of guidance. The missile seen in the video is most likely not what caused the explosion at the hospital. It actually detonated in the sky roughly 2 miles away. The Times found, and is an unrelated aspect of the fighting that unfolded over the Israeli-Gaza border that night. The Times finding does not answer what actually did cause the Al Ali Arab Hospital blast, or who is responsible. The contention by Israeli and American intelligence agencies that a failed Palestinian rocket launch is to blame remains plausible. But the Times analysis does cast doubt on one of the most publicized pieces of evidence that Israeli officials have used to make their case, and complicates the straightforward narrative they've put forward. The hospital blast has become a searing, contested episode in the war that began on October 7th after Hamas, which controls the Gaza Strip, invaded Israel, an attack that the Israeli government says killed more than 1,400 civilians and soldiers and seized 200 hostages who were taken back to Gaza. Israel has responded to the Hamas attack with a relentless artillery and bombing campaign that has killed 5,700 Palestinians, according to the Hamas-run Gazan Health Ministry, as the Israeli military prepares for a ground invasion. Something that I want to point out, because I see you guys doing this, I have to get you guys to do this. I don't know how to get you guys to do this, okay? You can't keep swinging one way or another, all right? I think there is really good reason to, and I might be partially responsible for the way that I talk about this. There's good reason to be hesitant. For instance, when the hospital thing happened, when they were like, oh, 400, 800, 1,000 civilians killed or whatever, right? There's good reason to be hesitant for that. But be careful when you come out swinging on the other side, where you're like, oh, well, I don't know if anybody's been killed, or maybe only 100 people have been killed, or I don't trust anything that the Hamas-run Gazan Health Ministry says, right? There are certainly people being killed in Gaza right now, and there are certainly people that are civilians that are being killed. Just be aware of that, okay? Don't keep swinging from like one side to the other because you're like just trying not to be for one side. Yeah. Most of DG is doing that all. Okay, just saying. Just be aware of that, okay? Has the hospital death number been confirmed? The last I read was like 50 to 100, but I'm just repeating bullshit I've seen. I don't know what the actual number is for that. but there are people saying that like the parking lot was being used to like store people, that like people were taking refuge there or were hanging out there. So, you know, who knows? It's hard to say. Is Israel intentionally targeting civilians, or are they just not concerned with collateral damage? I believe they're concerned with collateral damage, and I don't believe that they target, civilians. Intentionally. Or at least, not right now, I don't think that's what's happening. Not to say they've never done that before, but... Destiny, rockets use solid propellant, missiles have an engine. I don't know if that's normally true. But... Okay. Yeah, the only difference between solid propellant and liquid propellant is for solid propellant, once it starts igniting, it just goes and you can't like stop and start it. Whereas I think liquid propellant typically gives you more control because you can start and stop. Hold on one second. Oh, we need to do this. I have to do shit before we really dig into this one. I just want to read this article first. Israeli officials and Palestinian militants blame each other for the Al Ali Arab explosion. Multiple videos assembled and analyzed by The Times show that militants were firing dozens of rockets from southwest of the hospital minutes before the blast, and the fiery explosion at the hospital is consistent with a failed rocket falling well short of its target with unspent fuel. The footage also suggests that Israeli bombardment was taking place and that two explosions near the hospital can be seen within 2 minutes of it being struck. Majnir Dinar, an Israeli military spokesman, told The Times...
List of academic sources for your research if you are interested.
Don't know why I link this right now, but okay. An Israeli military spokesman told The Times that military forces were not striking within a range that endangered the hospital, but declined to say how far away the nearest strike was. A week after the hospital tragedy, much remains in question. The death toll, initially put at 500 by Hamas and then lowered to 471, is believed by Western intelligence agencies to be considerably lower, but no number has been verified. The hospital itself was not directly struck. Whatever caused the explosion actually hit the hospital courtyard, where people had gathered for safety, and a handful of parked cars. Moreover, the crater left from the impact was relatively small, a fact that Israel has cited in arguing that none of its munitions caused the blast and could be consistent with a number of different munitions. Hamas has not produced a remnant of an Israeli munition or any physical evidence to back up its claim that Israel is responsible. This is a pretty important thing too. This is also one of the things that I've been the most critical on people that have pushed the Israeli missile thing, is that Hamas didn't actually publish a single shred of evidence. There's no part of a missile body. I'm trying to think of what you normally see, because we saw this with Ukraine when places were struck. Remember, you'd have like bodies of the rocket, you'd have like different parts of the. There are different things that you can find that are like, oh, this is clearly a munition from this side. Now, my guess is going to be, without knowing anything, my guess is going to be that the more primitive the launch vehicle, or the more primitive the munition, the harder it is to find evidence afterwards. As in, like, if this was a full-on Israeli missile and it hit something, you're probably going to find some part of the missile body. But if you JSTL, okay, link something or you're getting banned for just being a contrarian shithead. But if it's like a very primitive, like a pipe and like a rocket and or whatever, I don't even know what explosive material they use, but a pipe and thing that just blows up, you're probably less likely to find something. But I'm sure that it probably depends based on what exactly you're talking about, yeah. Dicey, bring it home, you're not going to stamp it. All modern munitions have dozens of stamps all over it. Well, sure, but I'm just saying that, like, I think it's probably somewhat likely that more primitive material is probably more likely to almost completely explode That'd be my guess, as opposed to like a more sophisticated missile where there's going to be other parts of it. But I could also be completely wrong there. It might be that missiles are made like everything I'm saying right now is made up. But it might be that missiles are made of lightweight material like aluminum. That is probably not. But that like it actually completely vaporizes when it blows up. But a rocket and like a crude pipe, the pipe is far more likely to survive because it's not an ideal material, right? Maybe, I don't know. So I'm totally guessing, but it could be one way or the other completely. Yeah. Apparently Israel posted a few videos and deleted the posts afterwards on Twitter. I think Israel posted a video, but the time was incorrect. I hear this repeated a lot, but I don't know the origin of it. I should look at the origin of this. But the time was incorrect for when it could have been, so they were wrong on that, so they deleted it. But I think some people, like JSTKL and chat, are saying like, oh, Israel faked the evidence initially. But I'm pretty sure they initially thought it came from a different part of a video and they didn't. But he's running with that in terms of saying that like they were just completely lying and faking it, even though the entire world had access to these videos and the entire world could see that the timestamp was wrong, which is why everybody called it out as being wrong and then they deleted it. But I think one of the time was correct. There was an hour difference between where Israel was and where the reporting was. Oh, one thing that is very irritating to me is people are very bad at Destiny with the bro science LOL. Okay. People are very bad at distinguishing different types of lies or misinformation or untruths or wrong stuff, which we talked about a little bit yesterday. The phone call between terrorists they posted as well was from people without Gaza accents. Okay, you're just on that. You're on that contrarian pack. Okay, never mind. I've seen a lot of different people say a lot of different things about that leaked phone call. I don't think any reasonable person would say that it is 100% faked. Now, I don't know if I would 100% trust something that the IDF is leaking and just take it verbatim, especially for a leaked phone call, but yeah, they didn't have the accent. I've never left California. Yeah. The guy who tweeted that is an Israeli influencer who worked in Netanyahu's digital team and has no association with the IDF. Yeah, I've heard that too. I'll probably just look into this today because I've heard so many different things about who posted what and who was. I just need to look into it, yeah. That person is retarded. All people from the Levant have similar accents because of the way Arabic developed in the Middle Ages. There's no way to tell whether someone is from the West Bank or Gaza just from the accent. That sounds so not true to me. Just because an accent developed, like, didn't English was around in the Middle Ages. But what? I don't understand what that means. Okay, stop. Okay, wait. I don't have to get triggered by chat. We're just gonna keep reading this. Someone from Gaza and someone from Jordan will sound pretty similar. Source, I just made this up. Yeah, like North Koreans have a distinct accent from South Koreans. Like you can tell, like pretty quickly, I think, if somebody's from North Korea. Moreover, the crater left from the impact is relatively small. I believe I saw a tweet. I don't know if it was from Hamas or somebody else, but a tweet quoting somebody saying that they had claimed that, I should just stop repeating this actually because I haven't verified it, so I shouldn't. But I saw the tweet claiming that like it all disintegrated and we can't find anything. I don't know if that's true or not. We just need to like read it. U.S. intelligence officials said on Tuesday that agencies had assessed that the video shows a Palestinian rocket launched from Gaza undergoing a catastrophic motor failure before part of the rocket crashed into the hospital grounds. A senior intelligence official said the authorities could not rule out that new information would come to light that would change their assessment, but said they had high confidence in their conclusions. Asked about the Times findings, a spokesman for the Office of the Director of National Intelligence said that the Times and American intelligence agencies had different interpretations of the video. Discerning what happened is especially complicated because Israel and Hamas have been firing at each other since the war began. Israel has fired more than 8,000 munitions into Gaza in what has become a brutal assault, and had even hit Al Ali Arab Hospital with an illumination artillery shell 3 days earlier, according to video evidence at the hospital's official Facebook page. I wonder what an illumination artillery shell is. Is this just something supposed to light something up? Or is it like like an advanced tracer round? That guy is completely wrong. Levantian accents have a huge variety even within country. I'm aware of that. That's why I said his things on it. Yeah. If it's green light, does that mean that it's that this is just like light amplification?
And tonight, his mission is to
light up the night.
Meaning it's visible spectrum light, or
sky, to make sure that there's no enemy forces out doing anything shady or trying to disrupt any activity that we have planned for CAF or Sea.
Firing illumination rounds are very important to the operations at Kandahar Airfield.
I think if it's gray, like if it's like grayscale, I think that's usually infrared. I think green is usually light amplification. I could be wrong. Hang it is standard mortar technology. Gotcha.
Or CAF for short. Not only does it show the enemy...
No, it would be like ultraviolet. Oh, is the green, if it's like a green, or maybe it doesn't matter, I'm not sure.
That we're out keeping a watchful eye over the area.
Night vision is light amplification. They use a green filter because your eyes can see more shades of green. Gotcha. Okay.
It'll also prevent future attacks on CAF.
If you've ever, oh my God, when we were in Louisiana, the 2 shooter guys that we were with, they had scopes with infrared. That shit is unbelievable. In a pitch black night where you can't see anything. It's like pitch black. Like, well, except for like a little bit of moonlight, but it's basically pitch black. You look through the infrared scope and it's like, I don't want to say it's like day. It's like, but it's because it's black and white, but it's like clear. You can see everything. You can see animals moving through the forest. You can see trees. You can see branches, leaves. It's insane. They are expensive. I'm pretty sure that guy's scope was like $10,000 plus or whatever, but it was such a good scope. And it's cool too that when you're using the night vision shit, you can turn on an infrared flashlight. So you turn on the flashlight, but you can't actually see it, but then it lights up everything in front of you too. Holy shit. I think they had a thermal scope too. He might be in here as well. I don't know if he's listening right now, but that some of the night vision, the night imaging stuff that exists, that's like real time and everything is unbelievably amazing. It is unbelievably crazy. I couldn't believe when I looked through this shit because I feel like I looked through like scopes like this like 10 or 15 years ago or something. It also lights up your position if you're shining infrared and they've got infrared, yeah. But oh my God, it's so crazy awesome. It's unbelievably cool. Holy shit.
Fire. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And when it comes to actually firing the mortar,
if it was Israel, I don't understand why would they want to hit a parking lot. They have precise missiles. If it was them, it was intentional. They would have shown they could hit the hospital floor. Well, hold on. So, so a reasonable counter narrative. There are two narratives where Israel could have struck the hospital. One could be that Israel claims Hamas was hiding somewhere and they shoot and kill, but they actually and it's actually civilians and not Hamas. And a second one could be some sort of misfire or some sort of error or some sort of an intercept that got bad or something, right? So there are probable stories, or there are like stories that aren't impossible to believe, where Israel's the one that bombed the parking lot. We just don't have any evidence of that right now. But don't think in your head that it's impossible that it happened. It could have happened. There's just no evidence for it right now. Yeah. For military purposes, IR lights are out of date now. Problem with IR light is that others can see it with IR goggles too, so mostly thermal is used now. Yeah, sure, yeah. Yeah, because if you turn your IR light on, anybody can see where you're coming from. You're basically in the daytime, yeah. You don't think it's even remotely possible that Israel just wanted to bomb civilians? I mean, it could be, I mean, it's not impossible, but it would be incredibly stupid, and I think Israel needs the support from the West. It's pretty important that Israel remains in people's good graces, so I don't think that Israel would go that route. Like, if Israel lost support from the West, it's in a really, really, really rough spot. Look up the new US military night vision. It's actually unreal how clear it is, and it has picture-in-picture views for the scopes and their rifles. Nothing Israel could do would stop America from helping them. Absolutely nothing. That is absolutely not true. We have, I think Noah, on Twitter calls this
Look up the new U.S. military night vision. It's actually,
I think Noah calls it last war syndrome or whatever. But after Iraq, any sort of intervention in like foreign affairs of the Middle East has been unbelievably unpopular for U.S. domestic policy. Would you say the U.S. population? We really don't want to around in the Middle East. Americans are still caught up on the Iraq war, the Afghanistan war. If Israel started up like really hard and doing really shit, I already don't think we would do direct military intervention for Israel, but if Israel started to really hard and they lost support, I don't think there's going to be a U.S. president that wants to pull the trigger on hardcore intervention. But it would depend on what both sides are doing, you know? Yeah. But I don't think the United States has much of an appetite right now for Middle Eastern intervention. We already fight over Ukraine-Russia stuff, which is a lot more clear, like good guy, bad guy, I think. Do you think Israel has nukes? I think it's generally accepted that Israel has nuclear weapons right now. I don't know what the delivery vehicles look like. I have no idea. I don't think Israel has like ICBMs, do they? Or maybe they do actually. I have no idea what any of the delivery vehicles look like. But my understanding is, I believe most people in the world right now believe that Israel has nuclear warheads like armed and ready to go. I believe that's what most people think. I think they stole the intel from the United States, I believe. But I've heard this repeated a lot, but I haven't actually done hardcore research into it. I did read one article on it that said that probably happened, but They definitely have ICBMs. They have a space program. Okay, well. If Israel is intentionally targeting civilians, do you think the U.S. would cut support? If they were like intentionally bombing hospitals and shit, I think it's possible that not cut support completely, but yeah. Hi, Dustin. I can link a good OSINT thread by Oliver Alexander that would clear up a lot of questions on the hospital explosion. There's been a lot of OSINT stuff, but I think some of, I don't think it's...
Hi, Destiny. I could link a good OSINT thread by Oliver Alexander that would clear up a lot of questions.
I don't know why I'm reading this and then just having I don't think it's that important right now to know who it came from. I just think it's really important not to 100% push a certain narrative with no evidence. That's the thing that I've been focused on originally. Some OSINT accounts are good, some are bad, yeah. I think most of the OSINT pointed that it was probably an errant rocket failure from Hamas. There's a New York Times analysis now where they don't push against that narrative, but they push against the video that was used to prove it. But my guess is going to be that you could probably go on and find, I don't know how much is supporting that it came from Israel right now from the OSINT community. There might be a thread or two, but I haven't seen that. But okay, hold on, let me finish reading this. Hamas and Islamic Jihad have continued to target Israel with deadly rockets from hidden launch sites inside Gaza. Palestinian rockets have malfunctioned in the past, and one estimate says 15% of rockets launched by Gaza militant groups fail. Within an hour of the hospital blast, an information war began. Hamas immediately blamed an Israeli airstrike, while the Israel Defense Forces soon denied any responsibility and placed the blame on a malfunctioning Palestinian rocket. Israeli officials released a report about the explosion on October 18th and also made public one conversation they said was intercepted between Hamas fighters, blaming Islamic Jihad for the blast. Israel also has cited several other pieces of evidence that have not been made public, including logs of military activity, information gleaned from radar systems, other audio intercepts, and other videos. If it's true that, I know that Israel doesn't like to compromise its sources, but if it's true that they've got like smoking gun evidence, like some sort of like radar activity or whatever, I feel like it behooves them to release this. I think it would be really good to show that, if they did have it. If I was Israel, I might just throw that out there, but they did post the conversation with the Hamas militants. That is true, although I guess, yeah, people including me would be hesitant to just buy that at face value. But meanwhile, Israeli officials have pointed to the Al Jazeera video and media interviews and social media. The Al Jazeera video, which was shared 3 times by the Israeli Defense Forces on X, formerly known as Twitter. X and yay. Bro, what is happening in our fucking world? In the posts, the Israeli military identified the moving aerial object as a rocket aimed at Israel that misfired and exploded at nearly the same time as the Al Ali Arab Hospital blast. A spokesman for the Israeli military also explicitly identified this munition as the misfired rocket that caused the explosion in interviews with CNN, the BBC on October 18th, and an interview with India Today on October 19th. Numerous media outlets have shown the video footage, and several have cited it as evidence that a Palestinian rocket hit the hospital. But the Times concluded that the missile in the video was never near the hospital. It was launched from Israel, not Gaza, and appears to have exploded above the Israeli-Gaza border, at least 2 miles away from the hospital. To trace the object in the sky back to Israeli territory, the Times synchronized the Al Jazeera footage with 5 other videos filmed at the same time, including footage from an Israeli television station, Channel 12, and a CCTV camera in Tel Aviv. These different videos provided a view of the missile from north, south, east, and west. Using satellite imagery to triangulate the launch points in those videos, the Times determined that the projectile was fired toward Gaza from near the Israeli town of Nahal Oz shortly before the deadly hospital blast. The findings matched the conclusion reached by some online researchers. This is why I was saying different OSINT people might have different conclusions about this. Oh, you recommended the Alexander guy, and it looks like that's one of the Twitter threads that was said. Oh, yes, and then this is, oh, I read this thread earlier. This is what I'm saying. This was the guy saying that it looked like it was a Tamir intercept missile launched by the Iron Dome and not directly related to the explosion. So he's calling into question the video of the missile that we saw. He's saying that it looks like it was an intercept missile, so that the rocket that we saw in the video is not the same one that hit the hospital parking lot. They attacked the USS Liberty and they got off basically scot-free. It's not, well, hold on. That is true, actually. It's not that unreasonable to assume that they would still have support regardless of their conduct of war. Love you, but no, I'm sorry. As soon as I see USS Liberty, I think Nazi, but I'm sorry. I hardcore profiled you. It is true that Israel did attack one of our ships. The Nazi propaganda claim is that they did it intentionally to blow our shit up. The mainstream, lamestream story is that it was an accidental attack and they misidentified it. Now, what you choose to believe is up to you. In addition, the videos show that the projectile in the Al Jazeera footage was launched after the barrage of Palestinian rockets Israeli official assessed were responsible for the hospital explosion. From 6:59 on October 17th, barrages of Palestinian rockets are fired from 2 positions southwest and northwest of the Al Ali Arab Hospital. In the video shown, flames from the Palestinian rockets are visible in the nighttime sky as their engines propel them northeast towards Israel. More than 25 seconds elapsed between the final Palestinian rocket and the hospital explosion. Times cannot independently identify the type of projectile. That was fired from Israel, though it was launched from an area known to have an Iron Dome defense system. The Israeli military says it doesn't fire Iron Dome interceptors into Gaza, and indeed the missile seen in the video may have crossed over into Gazan territory. The Israeli military stated that the Iron Dome did not shoot any interceptors in the question time and area. So here you go. If you're holding on to mainstream media to back the Israel, or at least the current evidence is not good, then there you go. 6.5 minute video on the future of leftovers.
Ethan's leftovers done for good.
So is the article right or wrong? The only thing that the article does is the article challenges the idea that the video analysis, that rocket is the same one that hit the hospital parking lot. That's what the video challenges. It doesn't say that it was Israel that did it, or that it was Hamas or the Islamic. It doesn't say any of that. It just challenges the narrative that video, or challenges that video can be a factual piece of evidence used to dismiss or affirm claims that it came from one side or the other. That's what the that's what it said.
I wouldn't say it's done for good. All I said is that it's, I would like to take a pause from it. That's all. And a lot of people are disappointed by that. It'd been going for a while, and I felt like we were hitting a good groove, but on one hand, people are saying, Ethan, someone take Ethan's phone. And so here, this is me relinquishing my phone. I'm saying, I am taking a break with peace and love. My fear with the show is just basically that, for the time being, is that there's going to be a lot of more episodes that are going to make people really angry, and it's going to be really upsetting. Is there any beef with Hasan? Hasan, of course not. Me and Hasan talked about it. We're friends first and foremost above everything. He is compassionate. He understands. He's being supportive. And
is the proportions on the screen messed up? Am I retarded? What do you mean the proportions on the screen? I think it's fine.
There's literally no reason to be mad at Hasan. I am not mad at Hasan. I love him. He's a great guy. Honestly, as a friend and as a person, he is a terrific dude. It will definitely not affect our friendship. And in fact, I think there's a pretty good likelihood that we might come back in a little bit for the election and all that kind of stuff. Ethan, no one wants to take your phone if you do it during leftovers. Just saying. I wish that were true, but it's not. It's just the things that I'm not, and again, maybe I am casting.
Why is it the case that Hasan connects so condescending to his inner circle yet receives no blowback? I think that Hasan's form of condescension, I don't know if it's intentional, but the way that he does it, there are, I'm trying to think. Do you guys remember when we watched no, you won't, because not most of you were here. We watched, there's a guy called Robert Sapolsky who does a whole course at Stanford, I think, over human behavioral biology. I think this is the course we watched, right? I think we watched all of this. And one of the things he talks about in biology are these things in nature that exists in social systems called tit-for-tat systems. And tit-for-tat systems are essential because tit-for-tat allows us to interact with others. It allows us to enforce other people's behavior, basically. So let's say, for instance, there's 10 of us. Let's say somebody hits me, and then I hit them back, right? That's tit-for-tat. it discourages you from attacking me because I'll attack you, right? Now, different types of social systems might call for different types of behaviors. For instance, there might be like a tit for tat or a tit for tat or something, right? Where let's say that I like sexually abuse a child. Everybody's going to beat the shit out of me, right? That's like a much harder attack. Or let's say that you have a child and your child hits you because they're a kid and they're being dumb. You might allow them a lot more leeway, right? So you've got tit for tat, whatever, all these other things. Certain people allow other people a lot more leeway in terms of making mistakes. I think I'm probably one of those people. I let people make quite a few mistakes. Ethan's probably one of those people. He lets people make quite a few mistakes. When those types of people are surrounded by other types of people that are like that, I feel like those make for the best types of relationships, friendships, professional, personal, romantic, whatever, right? So I would argue that when we're at our best, me and Pxie are kind of like that. Like, we can say a lot of crazy shit, we go back and forth, but at the end of the day, we're letting each other make maybe a lot of mistakes, maybe mess up a lot, but we're trying to stimulate each other's position. It's like really, really, really fun. But the scary thing is sometimes you'll run into, I don't want to call them leeches or sociopaths, people that take advantage of others' generosity. And when they take advantage of others' generosity, they can thrive in those environments because they're taking so much from the other people around them and they're not getting punished for it. And I kind of feel like this is kind of a one-sided analysis, but I feel like it's kind of like that with Ethan and Hasan. The reason why Ethan and Hasan works is because Ethan is actually, I think this was really well on display in their Palestine-Israel conversation when they were both crying. Ethan is really good at, like, he really does view Hasan as a friend, and he's really trying his best to, like, be conciliatory, to be understanding, to steel man. He's trying his best to do everything for Hasan. Hasan is not trying to do any of that for Ethan. He doesn't really care. So he's just kind of like doing his own thing, you know, maximizing it for himself. That's why Hasan cries when he feels like Ethan cries, because he's pressure for it. But then when Ethan brings up like dead Israeli people, Hasan is like laughing on his phone and like talking to his dog, right? I think
if and only if there was a real, legitimate, well-established military machine that was capable of going and fucking killing every single Israeli citizen, like you said, he is justifying for, this would be as damaging as the average
There is a machine, okay? It's called Hezbollah, okay? What do you mean? Of course these military machines exist. Do you think it is just Palestine? Do you think it's just Hamas? Like,
it is utterly and entirely a distraction to have assessments, to make assessments over.
Listen, I'm sorry that I care about it. I guess I'm just an emotional idiot.
I'm not saying that at all. I perfectly understand why you care about it. But
it's important to me.
I understand why you care about it.
I disagree.
Oh, it might be Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. Sorry, my bad.
Because I personally disagree with this assessment.
Yeah.
And I think it's unhelpful and unproductuve overall.
Yeah, okay.
But
unhelpful, unproductive. I disagree because it's unhelpful, unproductive. Not because it's like mean or evil or bad. Just, unhelpful, unproductive.
A fan of Second Thought who's listened to him dehumanizing Israelis that way. Do you think that listening to him might inspire one of those people to be like, hey, I'm going to go join this...
There you go. Oh, Ethan understands.
Be like, hey, I'm going to go join this,
What, Hamas?
Well, no, I mean, it's a according to it's a pro-Palestine.
You think a fan of Second Thought is going to see... Okay, let's walk through it. You think a fan of Second Thought is going to see that and be like, I'm going to go to Gaza, I'm going to join Hamas?
That's not what I said. I said he's going to go...
It's not even close. What was the whole arc we did on like stochastic terrorism that all these guys jerked off so hard when they talked about Nazis and fascists and crypto-fascists? Like, did we just forget all of that, or...
Down to the Opera Sydney, at this location, and be like, hey, yeah.
Keep in mind that these people think that me having chicken and waffles with Nick Fuentes one time means half my audience are going to become card-carrying Nazis. Like,
let's the Jews. Everyone's saying it. Nobody seems to care.
I guess it could happen, certainly.
Okay.
But once again, I mean, this is gross, by the way, 100%. It's just ridiculous.
He's laughing, but like, yeah, this exactly does happen. Why do you think there are U.S. people fighting in Ukraine? Because they saw shit on Twitter and in social media, and they decided to go to Ukraine and volunteer for volunteer armed services. Like, why are you pretending like this doesn't happen now, or like this is like inconceivable that people could get radicalized by online content? Like, where do you think the Christchurch shooter got radicalized from? Where do you think the Buffalo shooter got radicalized from? Where do you think every shooter that's done a manifesto referencing some online bullshit? Like, he's like, oh, this is impossible. He's like, oh my god.
I understand that.
May Allah guide my weapons.
I understand you think it's silly.
I do.
But again,
I think it's
I'm
silly.
responding to your point about how none of this matters, and I disagree with that premise. I do.
Yeah, that guy.
Like, broadly speaking, I feel like that's why this is still working, is because Ethan is genuinely like a pretty nice guy, and he's trying to do right by his friends, and he views Hasan as being a friend. I think that's where most of the success of this comes from, because I feel like, I could be wrong, that's what I feel like means. I feel like if it ever got to the point to where Ethan was like stood up for himself and demanded that Hasan make a concession, I think that the whole relationship might devolve at that point. It might be over. If Ethan's like, listen, I need you to say that like this is not okay, that these victims exist on Israel's side, that the rating of Palestinian women is not the same as like the way that Hamas records it, I don't think Hasan would ever make those concessions, and then I think the relationship would deteriorate. Yeah. That'd be my guess. But I could be totally wrong. But.
Too broad of a brush when I talk about like the reception and stuff, but there is a lot of people that take my
yeah, arguably this is how me and Hasan's bridge burned. Sure. How often do you read books? Well, I'm trying to read more now that I'm on amphetamine, so I read a little bit when I wake up in the morning. I actually just finished a book called, because it was in that it was referenced in that blog once, and I figure I'll start with fiction. It's easier to get into. I read this book, The Secret of Father Brown, which I guess is cute. It's like a collection of short stories. It's like a priest guy that solves crimes, but he does it by like having a good understanding of how humans act, of human intuition. I don't know. I think it was a cute book, but yeah, I don't know. I'll probably try to read more and more in the coming weeks, months. Yeah, but there's a TV version of this. Okay. At Destiny, people in the real world don't make or break friendships based on political opinions, but okay. Number one, depending on the opinion and the type of person, yes, people absolutely will make or break depending on what's going on. So you're completely wrong there, number one. Number two, the issue right now between Ethan and Hasan isn't actually a difference in political opinions. I think it's actually a little bit like Max and me, where Ethan is like Max and Hasan is like me, and that I think what Ethan is probably looking for is support from Hasan while his community is shredding him. Because if what Ethan is probably feeling right now is a little bit mindful, because from Ethan's perspective, okay, Ethan is a guy who tries his best to do right by everybody. He tries his best to be understanding of both sides. Ethan is getting insanely attacked on Twitter. His wife is being called a terrorist. He sees his community hardcore on Ethan and his wife, right? It's happening in the main subreddit. Now it's happening in that anti-fan subreddit, the H3H3 Productions one. He's seeing Hasan's Discord going hard at him. So Ethan is probably super mindful because he probably feels like he's trying to do his best to understand both sides, but his community and all the communities adjacent to him are just absolutely blowing him up. Yeah, this was starting to get shared more on Twitter. I saw this blowing up again. So yeah, I think that Ethan probably feels like really mindful now because he feels like he tries his best to like do right by most people, but like everybody is running against him. And then yeah, and now it's like infected his community, so it probably feels like really bad too. So that's probably his confusion or issue right now. But I'm sorry, but that's why I was saying that, like, if Ethan is on Split, it wouldn't be because they have a difference in political opinion. It would probably feel like Ethan, because it'd probably feel bad to Ethan that he feels like nobody has his back right now. Like, his production staff seems to be kind of left-leaning. His subreddit is all turned against him, kind of. I don't know what the YouTube comments are at because I don't check it. The chats and everything are run by Hasan fans. Hasan's whole Discord community hates him. And then everybody to the left that was ostensibly his ally is also shitting on him and Hila too. So yeah, it's a pretty lonely world that he's in right now.
I don't really even know what I did other than like try to talk about how horrible Hamas is. But that enough turns people into just the meanest I've ever seen them.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just not worth it for me and my family.
Yeah.
There's a million people everywhere talking about it, so I don't feel that I need to add my voice to it right now. Vivek, we told Vivek to fuck off. We told him to get lost.
The biggest issue with Ethan is that he refuses to accept that he's partially responsible for the way his community acts. He acts just as gross as them when it's about conservatives. A little bit. That's probably a little true. Yeah. But he probably thinks that this is like a principled position, acting mean towards conservatives because we disagree with them principally, maybe. He didn't think that that same behavior would be applied to him. Like, in a way, I kind of ran into this when I used to attack conservatives all the time. I ran into these issues because I didn't realize that my fan base was getting hardcore left, and that if I had some positions that were a little bit more center of the road or more right leaning, like I like guns, right, that my community might go insane on me. So, yeah, he's probably figuring that out, but that's a really hard thing to intuit. All of this stuff is hard to intuit. Like, you're not gonna have strong intuitions about leading tens of thousands or millions of people, you know? How is everyone against Israel pro-Hamas, but they don't voice the same for the Uyghurs or China? Remember, a lot of this analysis is done via what the United States or the West supports. Don't forget that. So the Uyghur and the China shit, who the f cares, right? Kashmir in India, who the f cares? Like, you know, any of the dozens of genocide, not dozens. How many genocides are happening in Africa? Isn't it like 6 or 7? Might be less, I don't remember. I don't know them all. But like these things, if the US is not involved, people don't really care that much. Yeah, I remember when people, oh God, this is a legendary thread in my subreddit. Way back when people thought I was, that's not how you pronounce Intuit? Intuit, oh, it's Intuit. Intuit, I think, is the tax service. It's Intuit, you're right. Why Destiny is already a socialist. It's funny, all of us lefties on the sub are stressing out, trying to figure out how to possibly get through to Destiny on this issue. The thing is, I'm not sure there's really anything left for us. Destiny's already a socialist in everything but name. Holy shit. Destiny even himself said he's 90 to 95% in agreement with most of the Chapo cells. Jesus. Destiny believes that open markets generally lead to better outcomes than if workers took over the means of production. He believes that the owners of capital are more capable than the average worker. True. This alone makes him the antithesis of socialism. Agreeing with socialists, social democrats, and liberals on social issues doesn't make you a socialist. True. Also believing that humans have no inherent natural rights, including private ownership, doesn't make you a socialist either. Also true. Nice. But, yeah. I remember these days. Let's finish this.
Gosh, bro, we're like, we don't care. We don't care. It's kind of funny. He is polling very low, though. He kind of missed his moment. Leftovers is the best forum for that conversation. Yeah. But I'm over it. I don't want to talk about it anymore. You know what I mean? Like, it's not worth it for me. You see my face? My fucking dog died. It's a lot. It's a lot to deal with. I've got a pregnant wife. I got 2 boys that have this much energy.
You don't see his face, sorry.
Should replace Leftovers with a 2-hour live stream of Alfredo doing Fredo things. That would be nice. Jimmy Lee, Bobby Lee win. Well, okay, so it's slated to happen in December sometime. It's really up to Jimmy if he thinks that going on Bobby Lee's podcast is worth his time or not.
Hold on. Destiny, one of your biggest mistakes was using that diatribe about being in agreement with 90 to 99% of left-leaning people's shit. In retrospect, it seemed like a shortcut to your buttering up to conservative arc that came later, blah, blah, blah. You're 70%, more likely you had 70% agreement. I think the issue, I read part of, there was a really popular article. No, it wasn't that popular. It was a big blog post that I see a lot of people in my community link. I read a little bit of it, not more, but I probably should read more of it. When I say I have like 90, here is an issue that I run into with people. I am a man, we'll read the Hasan Discord messages. Okay, I am a man of ideology, okay? In that I have like list of ideas that I believe in, and I have absolutely no adherence to any type of community or group, not even mine, okay? I don't give a fuck what you guys think. This means that every single time an issue comes up, I look at the issue, I evaluate it based on what I believe, and then I make a decision about that issue on what my position will be. I have no partisan ideological bias, I don't think, when it comes to making these types of statements. Now, be careful. That doesn't mean I have no bias. I can still have all of my own personal biases, some of which might be influenced by politics. So for instance, I would say I don't have a politically partisan bias on self-defense at all. I don't care what leftists say. I don't care what rightists say. I don't care what liberals or conservatives say on it. But I might still have a bias in that where I came from in Nebraska or my older, growing up biases or my personal experience, whatever, right? That's what I mean when I say that. I don't mean to say that I'm a man free from all biases. I just mean that I don't have like a political group that I 100% align with. And so I don't mind being against progressives, against Democrats, against conservatives, against Nazis, whatever. I don't care about that, right? What I assume when I fight with people, what I assume when I've made this assumption for a while. I no longer make this assumption. This is relatively recent. I assume that when I'm fighting against sometimes people, at the very least against like influencers or against streamers or political people, that I'm also fighting against kind of these like groups of ideas. And then this is our back and forth, right? That we're hashing out, we fight against like these different things that we believe in. So when I'm looking for allies, when I look at a person on the left, a leftist even, one might say, we might have an agreement on, maybe 95% of our ideas, right? We might be socially progressive, we might believe in redistribution of wealth to some extent, or to a great extent. We might have all these beliefs, and I look at them and I go, okay, well, we have like 90 to 95% agreement. We should be friendly towards each other. That'd be my assumption. But something that I think I've come to realize is there is an ideology kind of that people have, but first and foremost, what they actually have is a social group. And the social group can kind of be informed by the ideology a little bit, not kind of, sort of, but this is what people have. Now, my social group overlap with socialists is 0%. We're basically as different as we possibly can be. And this is something that's taken me a long time to figure out, because I'm looking at like leftists and all this. I'm like, well, we agree on so much. Like, why the fuck is it matter? We don't actually agree on that much. We agree on almost nothing. Our agreements are superficial in that our agreements are only about ideas, but that's superficial because how these people are selecting their groups first comes from social groups. So to reiterate, when I said in the past, I feel like we have like a 90 to 95% overlap, that was true on the ideological level, but these groups are not ideologically driven. They're socially driven, that are loosely informed by some ideology that can be flexible or change. So yeah, it's taken me a while to figure that out, but I'll try to specify that more going forward in the future. Yeah.
Hey, dude.
Hey, what's up?
I was wondering if you saw Jenk's interview with...
I haven't got to that yet. I'll probably get to it later today, though, but yeah.
Okay. Well, we can still kind of talk about it. I can give you a bit of a summary.
Wait, no. Hold on. This is one of our huge disagreements. Let me watch it first, because I'm not going to trust anything you say about it, because I just like to watch it and see it myself, and then we can talk about it later. That's fine, right?
Yeah, but I mean, I don't think I'm misrepresenting anything. Like, it's not a very detailed description I'm giving you.
Okay. Wait. Can I just watch it? I'll be here. I stream full time, and then you're, on your 5,000 calorie cut. You're working out full time. We can just talk later about it. I'll watch it soon. Okay. I'll try to watch it soon for you. I promise. All right.
Okay. Whatever.
Okay. I love you.
Okay.
Bye.
All right. Bye.
Yeah, but I think there's a good shot that we might come back for the in a little while. I just need some time. I need some distance. Man, I miss Shredder so much. The Shredder thing's really been hard, and you talk about I talked a lot about it when it happened, and by now, God, when did he pass away? It was right before his birthday, so it was like, I guess it's been almost 2 months now. Is that like, I can't keep talking about it all the time. It's like, okay, everyone knows it sucks, it's sad. But it hasn't really gotten easier for me.
Poor Shredder. Wait, how long? Oh, wait, shit, hold on. Careful. When I talk about animals, I get sociopathic, so I'm not even going to talk about this. Never mind.
Fucking crying all the time.
How long ago did this dog die again? How in your mind does Ethan reconcile that Hasan is not responsible for how his community behaves at all? Because Hasan probably tells him that he's not. Also, I probably have, I think I probably have the most extreme form of community responsibility in my mind, in that I think that your community is an exact extension of what you believe. Most people probably feel quite a bit less attached than I do. So I'm sure that for instance, if I were to say to Ethan, hey, Ethan, like, there's always crazy people in communities, right? We can't control all of them, right? My guess is Ethan is going to be like, oh yeah, like, I agree with that. Like, we can't control everybody, of course. Yeah, for sure, right? Now, if somebody said that to me, I would actually fight. I'd say, no, I think we actually control a lot of our community. There might be one or two crazies, but for the most part, you exert a huge influence on your community, right? That'd be my guess. Yeah, that'd be my guess. But I haven't heard Ethan talk about this directly, but...
I cried in like a decade. Now I can't stop crying. So there'll be no stream on Thursday for a while. There will be no stream on Thursday. I am wondering if there's some kind of fun thing we can do on that day now. I'm thinking about it. For the time being, no. There won't be an episode on Thursday. Oh. But I still think about Shredder every day. All the time.
Oh, that's it.
It's just, it's wild, the companionship and the friendship that you get from your animals.
Destiny, saying that while also saying my community doesn't bias me is somewhat contradictory at Destiny. Wait, what? Were you talking about this person's blog? Yes. I don't know if we'll read this on stream though, because it's quite a read. But it might be worth reading. I skimmed some of this, and there were some interesting ideas in here. The denial by 1,000 cuts. OSINT Nerd 0 Gigachads 1. Let me tell you, I still don't know if it was indeed a misfire or possibility, but I f***ing called it when I said that an intercepted missile and OSINT Nerds doubted me. They literally were so certain that missile failed and blew up the hospital and not even questioned the trajectory. Oh, this is, yeah. So Hasan is doing, even in the wake of the New York Times article, this was the issue, is that you have no idea what any of this looks like. Regardless of this, remember, this is what I said before, the issue was never whether or not Hasan was right or wrong, which I'm still pretty sure he's wrong. The issue is just making calls ahead of time without having all of the information. The idea that he feels like there's nothing that can come out that could vindicate his early takes. But every single audio count of dust fire has been proven to be false. The real hard evidence is the impact crater, which looks like it could be a misfire or an artillery shell, or a third Israeli missile, and I am totally unfamiliar with. We still have no explanation for the whistle sound signature on the balcony video. And also the one very suspicious thing that Hamas did was claim that they had no missile parts they could retrieve. Missiles don't completely perish. Yeah, anyway, yeah. Okay. The enemies appear in different colors too? Really? You can ping locations IRL now? It highlights thermal transitions from hot to cold, so it makes outlines around hot. Oh, interesting. It's easier to spot collectibles. Okay. Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater. Did they change any of the Metal Gear Solid 1 or 2 stuff? Any of like the plot or the characters or the anything on the remakes, or did they do it like pretty much verbatim? I know for Metal Gear Solid 1, they made it a lot more Hollywood. And how they... Like, I don't think this happened in the original Metal Gear Solid 1, but in the remake, they went crazy or something. Oh, it's just a straight remake. Is there one of these with more than like 7 pixels?
Down. Eat this.
Like, I think this is like the Twin Snake remake or something, right? Or no, wait, this might... Fuck, I don't remember what the original is now. It's been a long time. Only Twin Snake did that. Metal Gear Solid 3 Delta we haven't seen yet. Oh, okay. This is Twin Snake, yeah. Matrix was very popular at the time. There was a very interesting article about there's a very interesting article that I'd read a long time ago about the original translator to Metal Gear Solid 1, and that a lot of the unique flavor from the Metal Gear Solid 1 dialogue basically came from one guy that did the translation that spiced or changed quite a bit of it in terms of flavor. And apparently Hideo Kojima found out about this and fucking hated him for it. But I thought it was a really interesting read. I don't know if anybody knows what I'm talking about. Metal Gear Solid 1 translator speaks about, I think he got fired after the first one, speaks about experiences.
I think. She was very upset and not a fan of Kojima at all. She thinks a lot of his work is hackery.
Wait, who are you talking about right now?
The translator you're talking about.
Oh, was it a woman?
I'm pretty sure if we're talking about the same person, unless we're talking about different people.
But no, it was a man. The bizarre true story of Metal Gear Solid. Wait, hold on. Solid's English translation, written by the man who did it. The last time I saw Hideo Kojima, we were both. Yeah, I think this is the article. Yeah, but this is like the first time he'd ever taken this job, or he'd ever taken a job this big. And yeah, apparently he did. He put a lot of flavor, I guess. Oh, translation is not a science, it's an art. One must take liberties with the text to capture the essence of the words, but yeah. I just thought it was interesting because apparently when Kojima found out about this, they hated the student. Yeah. Oh yeah, he made up the abbreviation OSP, on-site procurement, which is still used in games to this day and in Metal Gear Solid. Like he made some of these up. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
One of the guys who broke the story about the development of Phantom Pain has some really fucking cool articles on a lot of what the staff that worked on translating Metal Gear thought about Kojima, and I think there's at least 3 of them that are pretty fucking big time guys who just think that a lot of his writing is fucking weird, it's amateurish, it's strange, and didn't have like very much when it came to speaking about him necessarily. Not a lot of like positives to say. I want to see if I can find these articles and link them to you, but it's okay. You haven't friended me yet, so I'll figure out where to link them to you, like maybe email or something.
Yeah.
But not just that too. The MGS2 has not been changed story-wise. It's been changed when Metal Gear 4 came out. What?
Okay.
What?
That's cool, but I'm just clicking through links quickly and going through stuff. We're not doing a whole history of the Metal Gear Solid remakes or anything like that.
Okay, when Palestine is done, then we'll talk about this.
Okay. Just watching this trailer, okay. Wait, real quick, do you have a favorite Metal Gear Solid?
3. Can you like anything else other than 3? All of them are great. I will not sit here and let you disparage even 4. But 3 is the best. You can't, like, 2 comes pretty close because of the meta stuff that it does.
I like 4. But when people say things like Metal Gear Solid 2 is just like a really complicated fucking movie or whatever, I agree with that, but I think that's a compliment. I like that part of Metal Gear Solid. That's fun for me. Even if 4 was a little bit autistic about the story and the twists and closing every single loophole and everything, yeah.
Well, there's so... Okay, so I don't know how much truth there is to this. I hear arguments back...
Good one. Liberal. F***ing moron. He just got destroyed. Okay. Well, yeah, I love you. I think Metal Gear Solid 3 was the best too, though. I like the... I don't know if I would have thought it was the best if I just like played every game in a vacuum, but I feel like Metal Gear Solid 3 following Metal Gear Solid 2 was also like narratively very satisfying because Metal Gear Solid 2 was like the most extremely crazy convoluted advanced game of all time. And then you got 1 where people don't remember at the time like the culture and everything, or quote unquote culture, whatever. But I feel like a lot of people from Metal Gear Solid 3, they were looking for an answer for the cliffhanger of Metal Gear Solid 2, which was like, who are the Patriots and the lolly lily low, and that's like what you're looking for. And then Metal Gear Solid 3 comes out of left field with this totally different like style of game that's like way simpler. The plot twists are way more like James Bondy-esque, 60s, 70s. Yeah. Wait,
it's wild that you say this because I would almost swear that you've watched people who talked about. I know that you haven't because you don't sit watching video essays, but your thesis of this is so similar to Super Bunny Hops, which again is the guy who broke the story on MGS5. It's really, really fucking good. But yeah, you're 100% right. It feels like a return to form and his love of Hollywood, essentially. Him just writing a love letter to these spy flicks that he loves so much. Man, there's a lot that we could talk about too, but I'm not gonna sit here and spend like 5 hours talking about it. There's, I feel like with Kojima, every single game of his,
wow, football, nice to
there's like 3 layers of narrative that are going on at the same time. There is like the auteur narrative. What you?
I think the earlier ones were okay at this, but I think in the later ones, I think it runs away with this in a really bad way. Oh, but I think we disagree on this. Like, I think Metal Gear Solid 5 was just a bad game.
Okay, if you're gonna talk about 5, I'm gonna swing my sword at it. Didn't even get the chance to be brilliant because of the shit that happened during development, and I don't think that's like.
Well, like here's a design decision, story-wise. You can tell me if you can defend it. The introduction and the removal of a brand new antagonist in the way that it was done. I don't know if any amount of story, I'm talking about Skullface, could have made that okay.
Yeah, I don't know either. In my idea, here's what I think. I think Kojima loved the idea of connecting the people that were part of MGS's 3 like crew of helpers. Like I don't know what you call them, paramedic and all those guys. I think he loved the idea of tying everything back together. Everything was connected, and I think Skullface was going to be an attempt at connecting elements from old games to new games, because 5 is a love letter to players in a
but we didn't get that as much, did we? Like where was like Sniper Wolf, for instance, right? Yeah.
Oh god, why?
Yeah. And she was even in this region. I'm pretty sure lore-wise, this is where she was supposed to be like during the time, you know.
Did you play Peace Walker? Do you remember what's his name? Chico, whatever the fuck his name was, like the little. No, you're being quiet, so I don't think you played it.
Nope, I didn't play any of the off ones.
Oh god. Okay. Well, I'll leave it off at this. There's no way. Yeah, 5 is absolutely a huge blunder. I'm going to chalk it up a lot to what happened during development. There are some elements that you can't explain with development. I feel like Skullface is I feel like it's a gamble. And in an ideal world, I would hope that Kojima could explain how it ties back together the original games. But as it is, yeah, it's an absolute blunder. There's no saving it, and it's copium to assume that it was going to be good. I want to cope. I think he's really good, but who knows?
I also think that like one thing that I really liked about Metal Gear Solid 3 was in Metal Gear Solid 2. We started to get a little bit memey. No, hold on. We started to get memey with nanomachines in Metal Gear Solid 1. In Metal Gear Solid 2, we went full memes, where nanomachines became God, right? Like Vamp could dodge bullets and all this because of nanomachines and nanomachines and nanomachines, and Liquid was taking over because of nanomachines and all this, blah, 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 right? So I was curious with Metal Gear Solid 3, like, wow, like this is going to be, how is he going to do this with like old tech? And I felt like he did dated tech perfectly. I thought Metal Gear Solid 3 dated tech was done really well. There was only one introduction of kind of weird stuff, which was with, I think, the end with the Wobakia or whatever. Although I don't even know if that was declared in Metal Gear Solid 3.
I don't think so.
No, that was retroactively declared in Metal Gear Solid 5. They said that he had the same types of things that Quiet did. Do you remember?
Wait, what? No, I don't.
Am I making this up?
I don't. You might be right, because again, 5 felt like a fever dream, but if that's the case, then that kind of puts a sour taste in my mouth. If they retroactively made it so like the end had fucking vocal parasites, no fucking way.
I think that in Metal Gear Solid 5, they said that the end had the same type of, were they called Wobaki or whatever? I
think it was Wobaki. Yeah.
Oh yes, that's incorrect. Metal Gear Solid 5 retconned the end into having the vocal parasites. Yeah, something like that. Yeah, they did. Yeah. Okay, so yeah. So anyway, Metal Gear Solid 3, I thought was really cool in doing like old tech and making it look like a Soviet era like spy thing. I thought that was really cute. And then in Metal Gear Solid 5, they had the most advanced tech of any Metal Gear Solid game, including like 4 almost. Like Salanthropus or whatever. That was wild.
Well, you're saying this, and I'm not saying that it's like a bad reason, but at the same time, just like me, you're eating up all those elements that don't need to get explained, and it's just like accepted as like cheesy magic. Like Vulcan having fucking thunder powers, the fucking guy, the Wrath who can control bees for some fucking odd reason nobody fucking knows.
Wait, in Metal Gear Solid 3 or whatever?
In 3, yeah, like in 3, there's no. I'm pretty. Like even
well, sure, I understand what you're saying, that there's not like a good explanation, but that just seems like some shit you'd hear, like, oh, a guy that's like the master of snakes, a guy that's like the master of bees or whatever.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. It's like an old tech. Like this is what I would expect to see from like some like 60s, 70s era shit. That's why I thought it was cute and it worked well. Or like the end. No, not the end. Who was the Sorrow, right? Like they did this guy's like a psychic guy that like controls your mind or whatever. It felt like time appropriate.
Yeah, and it's just. The thing too is with tone. MGS5 didn't have the tone to pull off a lot of the shit that I was trying to do, but with 3 there's a lot of shit that is so campy and fun and cheesy. Like when Snake and an Ocelot are at the plane trying to escape the blast radius of the nuke that the boss is gonna call down, and fucking Ocelot just pokes Snake right in the eye, and you zoom out and he's got like a big smile on his face because he poked the fucking spot where he's missing an eye. It's great. But with 5 you just don't get that. God, I would love to talk to you about Metal Gear, but this Palestine shit is
I know. Don't worry, we'll get to it someday, my friend.
Yeah, we'll get to it someday. Alright, have fun with this. I'll come annoy you later.
Be careful, babe.
Dork.
All right, sorry. There is a trailer for Metal Gear Solid 3 though. We'll watch this. Is this gonna be Unreal Engine 5 trailer? Games run on the Unreal Engine on the PS5, right? They do now. Do you ever think Snake has like permanent back problems because of the way that he walks all the time? Oh, in Metal Gear Solid 4 he did? Oh, cute. No shot does he have a statement on this. Oh my god. Okay, hold on. I'm probably canceling all my...
Wow.
If you found... I'm just gonna cancel all my Israeli-Palestinian research because apparently we have the take. Apparently we've got the take. Thank God DSP has guided us. Just tell us what I'm supposed to think about this, DSP. Thank God.
Cover everything, but we did include links to more info in the description.
Wow.
If you found this video informative, please
basically, these two groups both have religious ties to this land. They both...
Wait, hold on. Did he lose weight? He's looking kind of fly. Looking pretty okay. Don't know how I feel about like the partially grown stubble thing. Maybe if he grew that out a little bit more, but you know. Okay, sorry. He was about to break it down for us.
These two groups both have religious ties to this land. They both think that religiously this is their homeland. So they both want it. How do you do that? How do you split it up? Because from what I'm to understand, there are literally areas that are both, right? Like both Israel and the Palestine will say this is a holy spot for both of us. So they both want the same exact spots. And so they've been vying for these for ages. And then the Ottomans at one point controlled the region. And during World War I, Britain and the UN and all that saw this as an opportunity. Let's get the people who already want those areas to fight the Ottomans, so that and then we'll promise them those areas, but then never properly gave it to either group, and now this is an endless conflict over these areas. It's just human nature, right?
Hold on. I've seen the triangle a lot in handwritten charts, and Halfdom is also known as M7 flat 5. So just play it major 7 with a flat 5. Thank you. Or minor 7 flat 5.
To fucking wheel and deal and lie and care about the consequences later. It's sad because now we have world unrest and now threats about a world war and stuff going on over this stuff.
Wow.
And it's like, gee, maybe if we had just been a little bit more careful back then, instead of promising the world to these both groups to get them to help in the war, and now they're both so angry about it because they didn't get what they were promised. Just constantly attacking each other. Well, certainly this is politics. I'm not going to go any further than that. It's just a sad situation, and you know, there's really, I don't even know, how do you determine the way to end a conflict like that when literally both groups want the same land and will never relent. They both feel that they have a legit right to the land, and it's hard to even argue either way, you know. All right, well, that's interesting because I did not know that background. So,
thanks, DSP. If there was like a DSP learns like physics or chemistry and he just like did a summary at the end, if he could pivot into becoming like one of those like Indian like engineering educational channels, God, that would be so fucking funny. Could you imagine like DSP explains Calc 2, DSP does linear algebra, DSP does stoichiometry, that would be so fucking funny.
One thing about...
Wait, is this a really old... I can never tell like what is recent or not with him. 4,000, isn't this really old? 4 minutes. Wait, how old is this clip?
One thing about charity streams and things like that is...
Oh, is he about to shit on charity streams? Were you linking me this because you congratulated Hasan for his, or... Hold on. This seems old. Recent ones are 8,000 subs.
They're self-promotion vehicles primarily.
True. Oh, he was shitting on Vosh because he raised money for Gaza. Oh, okay.
One thing about charity streams and things like that is they're self-promotion vehicles primarily. And I don't like that. A real charity stream would be either somebody who doesn't stream often, streaming just for the purpose of...
Why are you hyper-focused on Hasan? Because Hasan is arguably the largest live streamer, political commentator on the internet right now? I think it's pretty natural, and I'm talking about like online politics, so...
Doing the charity stream, or streaming on someone else's channel, hopefully in order to support that organization. You know, that would be a true charity stream. But a lot of these charity streams are self-aggrandizing fests where you get a bunch of people to raid into you out of solidarity for the charity. You promote yourself. You virtue signal as if you are a good person. And
I'm sorry, real quick. People were saying that my community was too obsessed or posting too much about like the Leftovers Hasan drama. I kind of agree with that, but I'll let you guys slide a little bit on that because I wasn't streaming for I didn't stream that much over the past 2 weeks. You guys had not as much to talk about, so that's probably why people were posting it on because there wasn't as much going on. So, yeah.
A lot of the money that goes to charities goes toward the executive director, the finance director, the fundraising machinery. And so, as a leftist, I find most charities to be highly problematic and don't like the liberal mentality of philanthropy. That's just not something that I like to do myself because I feel like it's disgusting, like it is profiting off of other people's misery, and it's bad. And so I'm not saying nobody should do charity streams or that charity streams are 100% toxic or anything like that. It's just, when you come to this channel, this is not a liberal channel, okay? I need you to understand that because I'm going to challenge a lot of your liberal assumptions. And I need you to know that. And charity is liberal. Charity puts the charity giver in a position of power over the person receiving the charity. Charity is not something that's revolutionary. Charity is something that supports the status quo. It doesn't mean that all charity is bad or we should never have mutual aid. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that most of the time, I am not interested in that as an axis of action.
Just as a quick reminder, and I want to really reiterate this hardcore, I don't like the conflation of mutual aid with charity. Mike does this a lot. Mutual aid is supposed to be the idea that you are establishing these quasi-independent systems that are supposed to take the place of the ones that exist in a capitalist-driven society. So like, donating money to somebody to buy a house in a poor community, I wouldn't consider that mutual aid, but like 100 people coming together to create like a people's fund to loan money to people that want to buy houses, I might consider that like mutual aid. I might be maybe I'm being too anal and drawing that distinguishment there, but that was my understanding. Like mutual aid is supposed to be kind of like these little programs or side things that we set up to kind of like take care of societies, like socialist, communist things, to take care of societies away from like the capitalist system, I believe. But yeah.
Charity is liberal, meaning charity equals bad. No. American charities have collapsed the entire markets by flooding one product. Haiti, as an example, was flooded with rice to the point that their local agriculture collapsed. And I know that mutual aid is something that's very different from charity because mutual aid is about building a power structure, okay? About building a power structure among equals. At the moment, I do think these widespread charity drives for Palestine are helping change the narrative, helping to widen the Overton window. I think that's true for sure. I think that's true for sure. So, you know, which is why I participated in them, donated, and supported, for example, Chapo's. Like Chapo's charity stream was good because the Chapo boys don't stream on the Chapo Twitch stream.
And then I'll just say this final thing about this. Charity streams are largely a way to drive clout for yourself. I don't think that's bad though. Like it's okay. The only thing I think is bad is when people are only willing to do things that increase their own clout and they won't ever like sacrifice a little bit for the ideas that they believe in. But other than that, yeah, like when I give a really good media or a news take and I get more viewership for it, like technically me covering current events or politics is also increasing my clout because it's like current events or whatever. But I would consider like, oh, well, it's good to cover events. Or like Hasan raising money for Gaza is increasing his clout, but it's good to like raise money for people and to help people that are sick or hungry and need food and to like do charity or something. So like you can do things that simultaneously raise your clout and help other people at the same time and it's still good. It's just not good if like the only things you're concerned with are just things that also coincidentally raise your clout and you're never willing to like sacrifice or put forth a little bit more for the ideas you believe in, I would say. Yeah,
like it's not their brand really. They make their podcast, their friends play Fortnite on the Chapo stream, you know. That's not what it's for. It's for, you know, they came on there for that. It wasn't just some sort of cash grab. One thing about charity streams and things like that is they're self-promotion vehicles primarily. And
okay,
I don't like that. A real charity stream would be either somebody who doesn't stream.
This is the Twitch CEO. For anyone that got denied being a partner from Twitch, don't feel so bad. Just got my partner application denied. Did not tell anyone I was applying. Oh, I wonder if the system is automated. Oh, this must be automated. Your recent viewership has been fluctuating significantly. We're looking for consistency rather than overall spikes in viewership. There's probably like an AI thing that analyzes viewership and then auto rejects based on. Can you appeal your ban on Twitch again? I think it's like in a month or two I get another appeal. Okay, somebody said this was the Hasan analysis when the first missile
exploding on its own. There are things that you can look at to try to figure that out. The Palestinian missiles are homemade for the most part. Fuck. Okay, I'll just get into it in a second. I'll get into it in a second. But it does look like a fuel fire. Palestinian fuel on the missiles is dirty fuel. It's usually not clear, clean fuel in general. They have to make do with the limitations that they have. This is part of the reason why when Palestinian rockets misfire or drop...
Wait, damn, I'm making shit up right now. I could be wrong. I thought that fuel was relatively easy to make. You buy like certain chemicals and then you just mix it. But like fuel is like, it might not be like as efficient or some shit, but that it's like fuel is just like propellant. It's not, I thought it wasn't that complicated to like extract and like mix stuff. There was a thread on how Palestinians made fuel. I remember reading one of these like a few weeks ago, but I'm not gonna be able to find that right now.
Limitations that they have.
Hold on.
In fuel in general.
Oh yes, that sugar and fertilizer. That might be the two things that were mixed, maybe, yeah.
They have to make do with the limitations that they have. This is part of the reason why when Palestinian rockets misfire or drop anywhere or explode, there is a cloud oftentimes that comes that is a dirty cloud. Like a cloud that that you normally wouldn't get in Israeli Air Force rockets in general.
This might be true. I have no idea this is true or not. I don't know why I was linked this. This might be completely true. If I'm intuiting, that seems like it could be possible that like pure fucking kerosene or some shit would like burn like whoosh, it would just blow up and cleanly burn, whereas like other types of fuel might burn more dirty. That seems like it could be possible, but I have no fucking idea. I don't know why I was linked this. If you thought I was gonna like immediately be able to disprove this or discredit this, I have no fucking idea. Oh my god, this was so fucking funny. Okay, sorry. Very quick return to Red Pill. To Red Pillsvilles. So Donovan Sharp decided to do a semi-formal wedding with his single mother girlfriend, who, by the way, I think is totally fine that she's a single mom. But it's funny because he spent a large portion of his content saying that marrying single moms makes you the ultimate fucking loser. But they did a wedding, and then I just think their vows are amazing.
All right, guys. Welcome to our wedding. This is going to be a very sort of informal thing. There is no what do they call it? An officiant. Pastor does. Yeah, I'm the officiant. Okay. I'm the officiant, and I run this. So we're going to exchange vows. She's got a few words for me. I've got some words for her, and then I will, by the power vested in me, Donovan Sharp. She's your wife.
Who is the crowd? His fans? Yes, and I think Pearl is here too. Notably absent are the Fresh and Fit people. Well, Myron and Fresh, I believe, but.
Yeah, buddy. All right. Gas me up.
The reason why the wedding is very like quote unquote unofficial looking and there's no officiant, remember, is because Red Pill people don't believe in legal weddings, so they'll never have a legal wedding. They just have like a little ceremony like this. Now, I don't know if common law marriage Florida. I don't know if there's common law things in Florida. Okay, they do not exist, so they probably. Oh, actually, I don't even know if he lives in Florida though. No, he must. I think because he's down here in Florida. I think. I don't know. Maybe not.
Go.
Alright, ready?
I'm ready.
Each day, when we wake up, we choose one another. You have taught me that the rent is due every day and not to take things for granted. A healthy garden takes watering, pruning, and attention in order to flourish. Thank you for demanding the best in me always. I promise to stand beside you, walk behind you, and be a reliable source of peace for you. I promise to show you my love through my actions, words, and thoughts. Together our lives are great, and the sky is the limit. I love you, and I'm happy to be your bride.
Okay, her vows are okay, I think. Her vows are fine. You couldn't hear it? It's all right. They were just like standard, like, I love you, we'll have fun together, blah, blah, blah. Okay. What are the red pill vows, though?
Go birds, baby! Cindy, it's been a hell of a ride. And the way we met was very unorthodox. Our relationship is very unorthodox. You're wearing a wedding ring now because, well, there you go. You've been wearing it for 7.5 years. But, like I said, I bring out the best in you, but you make me happy. You really do. I was happy before you, and if you and I decide to part ways for whatever reason, I'll be happy without you. But I am very, very glad to have someone like you in my life. I've been successful in many ventures in my life, and I've never really had someone like you. I really haven't. I'm glad that I made you into the woman you are today, and I'm glad that you continue to hold that standard. Success is really, really cool to have, to be financially successful, but it's much, much sweeter when you have someone like you to share it with. And so, by the power vested in me, I pronounce us man and wife.
Jesus Christ. They do like a Q&A, but I don't give a fuck. But you can see there. Wonderful friends that showed up. I think Pearl is here. Oh, here she is. Yeah.
Steven, how do you feel about me then?
I'm still making you into a good person, a good wife.
Yeah.
I'm trying. But I'll be happy if you're gone. Maybe happier. Love you. Just kidding.
Watch it.
Listen, I will never break up with you as long as your sister still has a boyfriend, okay?
Yeah.
All right. Okay, I'll click through all my links. I feel so bad, okay? Real quick. Okay, also a quick side story, and then we're doing this. We're getting side storied a lot here. Pxie's a very, very, very sweet, very nice girl, woman, young lady. I don't know what the fuck you're like. I've never seen her be mean to anybody, even like red pill people. She gets along with everybody at like the dinners and everything. She's super cool. Apparently, Pxie went to hang out with some people. I think Lauren De Laguna and a few others, and then there were going to be red pill people there, but she wanted to go hang out and eat at a club or do karaoke or something. And as soon as she got there, Donovan started screaming at her, saying that she had to leave because she hates men. What the f? Donovan's such a loser. I don't even know if he knows Pxie or if he just doesn't like her because of her association with me. I have no idea. Man, let me grab something. Hold on. But she got blown up on Twitter for the "I'll wait" tweet that defended Pokemon. Might be why. Oh, not to simp for Poke or Pxie, but Pxie was completely right there. Oh, I joked about that with Poke when I saw her. Poke gets like the most random strays for no reason. That guy quote tweeted and had a picture of like Pokemon. And they were like, these women get away with the worst things just because they're women or because they're pretty or something for no reason. What the f? How does that even apply to Poke in the slightest? Like, what is Pokemon like done that's horrible that she's gotten away with? Like, I've definitely had like criticism of Poke where I think, oh, this is dumb or this is dramatic or whatever. But like, in terms of like actual bad shit, I don't think I've ever heard of Poke doing anything that's like super bad or horrible. Has she ever? She robbed people at gunpoint? Okay. She looks different without makeup? It's Pokemon. It's Pokemon.